Covens, lodges, and hidden houses. Organizational structures of power in occult bloodline families. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the Occult Families How to Spot Them series. Trigger warning. This video series covers disturbing and very serious topics. Full legal disclaimer in the video description below. Occult bloodline families do not operate solely within private homes or isolated rituals. Their spiritual roles and assignments extend far beyond the household, embedding themselves into society through a network of front-facing institutions that mask deeply esoteric purposes. These structures appear normal, but function as strategic hubs for ritual synchronization, energy management, and spiritual control. Covens in these contexts are far more than informal gatherings of practitioners. They often operate as energetic task forces, multi-generational, multi-gender networks that maintain, raise, and direct power for bloodline agendas. These covens may present themselves as social circles, wellness groups, or community gatherings, but focus on ritualized emotional work, managing fertility rites, death contracts, psychic surveillance, and trauma anniversaries. Within families, the women who are most emotionally engaged, grandmothers, aunts, older sisters, frequently serve as nodes within these covens, operating in a tightly coordinated grid that monitors behavior, controls narratives, and channels collective energy. Lodges function as the formalized male-dominated counterpart, spiritual and administrative command centers where ritual timing is planned, legal contracts sealed, and alliances negotiated. Far from being mere clubs, lodges anchor the bloodline's earthly operations through strategic management of property, inheritance, and public identity. Their members often hold positions within religious, governmental, or judicial institutions, allowing them to protect family interests under the guise of legitimacy. Ritual calendars maintained within lodges align significant public and private events, weddings, funerals, legislation, with spiritual timing, ensuring maximum ritual potency. Hidden houses are spiritual estates that transcend physical location. These may be families with ancestral lands, religious influence, or private archives that serve as repositories for bloodline secrets, ritual tools, and spiritual contracts. Hidden houses maintain the continuity of lineage through generational stewardship, ritual training, and energetic recalibration. Their members often occupy everyday roles, teachers, bankers, lawyers, while quietly maintaining the family's spiritual and social scripts behind the scenes. All three organizational layers, covens, lodges, and hidden houses, interconnect to form a complex matrix of control. Regular calendar-based meetings disguised as social events, religious holidays, or charitable gatherings serve as ritual briefings where decisions are made. Who carries the next spiritual contract, who must be contained, and which relationships must be monitored or severed. These gatherings ensure that the bloodline's spiritual economy remains intact and adaptable. Front-facing businesses and institutions, schools, churches, law firms, and nonprofits serve dual functions, laundering energy, money, and influence, while embedding ritual contracts in plain sight. They often act as conditioning grounds for the next generation, disguising energetic programming as education, care, or community service. The system perpetuates itself through trauma repetition, precisely timed to lunar cycles, equinoxes, or significant anniversaries. Family gatherings, holidays, and personal milestones become ritual checkpoints where emotional energy is harvested, contracts renewed, and control reinforced. Attempts at escape or rebellion activate the entire network. Emotional bait from covens, legal pressure from lodges, surveillance from hidden houses. Public exposure often triggers coordinated character assassination and spiritual warfare designed to destabilize and discredit. Understanding these organizational layers is key to recognizing that occult family control is not isolated or random. It is systemic, multidimensional, and deeply ritualized. Their power lies in invisibility and interdependence, with each layer supporting and protecting the others. The lodge and the lineage, strategic command, and soul-level governance. Beyond the immediate family, occult bloodlines are overseen by strategic institutions often referred to collectively as the lodge. This is not merely a fraternal meeting place, but a multidimensional command center where spiritual contracts are maintained, timelines managed, and soul alliances discussed across generations and reincarnations. These lodges coordinate ritual calendars, arrange spiritual pairings, and assign roles to offspring to ensure the bloodline's continuity and control. High-level councils convene, disguised as conferences, retreats, or social events, to plan energy harvesting, enforce discipline, and respond to internal threats. Ritual families are briefed on cycles, eclipses, and astrological gates, receiving instructions that dictate social, political, and spiritual alignments. Lodges function as hubs for reincarnational strategy. They track ancestral spirits believed to reincarnate within the family to fulfill contracts or karmic debts. Birth dates, names, and conception timings are coordinated to align with ritual anniversaries, sustaining the spiritual blueprint across lifetimes. Members act as representatives of lineage rather than individuals, their choices influenced or dictated by these contracts. The lodge system is not limited to a single tradition, but spans multiple esoteric frameworks, each with distinct rituals but a shared goal of bloodline enforcement. Meetings today may occur in digital spaces or through institutional fronts, reflecting evolution from physical halls to energetic grids that overlay regions and cultures. Lineage enforcers, often cloaked as relatives, healers, or protectors, maintain order by silencing defectors, guiding compliance, or spiritually punishing those who threaten the system. Their work is subtle yet powerful, ensuring that contracts remain binding and bloodline agendas continue unbroken. Recognizing the lodge and lineage as the true centers of power in occult bloodlines shifts the understanding of family control from isolated abuse to a coordinated generational spiritual operation. It explains why life events, relationships, crises, achievements often feel orchestrated and why breaking free requires more than physical distance. It requires dismantling a hidden, multidimensional system of governance. The coven within the household. The maternal line as ritual grid. Within the family home, the maternal line frequently forms a microcosmic coven, a tightly woven grid of ritual roles, emotional control, and spiritual assignment. Mothers, grandmothers, aunts, and sisters often act not merely as relatives, but as enforcers and transmitters of the bloodline's energetic blueprint. The grandmother often serves as keeper of the ancestral contract and ritual knowledge, passing spiritual legacies silently through generations. The mother typically functions as enforcer, transmitting rules, punishments, and silence. The daughter, whether willingly or not, becomes the vessel to carry this legacy forward. Resistance frequently results in scapegoating, exile, or ritual punishment, while compliance transforms one into the next enforcer, perpetuating the cycle. Maternal grooming in occult families is subtle, yet pervasive. Girls are trained to protect family honor, forgive violations, and assume emotional caretaking roles prematurely. Spiritual assignment is reinforced through objects, heirlooms, clothing, or gifts that serve as energetic keys, tethering the girl to ancestral roles. Sibling dynamics are similarly coded. Sisters may be assigned polar roles, golden child and scapegoat, empath and rebel, to generate emotional friction that sustains the system's energetic needs and suppresses awakening. Early life stages, pregnancy, birth, breastfeeding, are ritualized as energetic installations. The womb is treated as a portal, breast milk as a conduit for spiritual transfer. Mothers may be instructed to bond excessively or detach emotionally, each strategy serving the family's occult agenda. Aunts and other female relatives often act as covert operatives, harvesters, informants, or ritual facilitators, maintaining the grid's stability through subtle manipulation, intercession, or surveillance. The household coven's power lies in its invisibility. Emotional intimacy conceals spiritual assignment. Daily interactions become ritual nodes in a larger matrix. Daughters who awaken and attempt to leave are often labeled traitors, mentally unstable, or dangerous, because their departure threatens the entire structure. Key points. Occult family power extends beyond the home through covens, lodges, and hidden houses, networks that synchronize ritual agendas and maintain control. Lodges act as strategic command centers managing contracts, reincarnation, and energy harvesting across generations and regions. The maternal line often forms a household coven, serving as emotional enforcers, spiritual groomers, and ritual vessels within the family system. Control is maintained through trauma cycles, ritual timing, and spiritual contracts embedded in objects, events, and relationships. Recognizing these structures and your assigned role within them is essential for breaking free from occult family control and reclaiming sovereignty. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and what you just watched is part of my signature program, the Chosen One series inside School of Soul. This series is not just a course, it's a blueprint for those who know they were different from the start: the black sheep, the scapegoat, the truth teller, the cycle breaker. Inside, you'll discover the family roles playbook, the golden child, the scapegoat, the enabler, the lost child, and how to finally step out of the part you were cast in without consent. How the black sheep becomes the goat, turning rejection into radical transformation and leadership. How to break generational curses and rewrite ancestral contracts so the pain stops with you. And how to recognize and escape modern forms of spiritual and technological targeting, from gang stalking to synthetic synchronicity. This isn't just about survival. It's about awakening, about reclaiming your voice, your lineage, and your destiny as one of the chosen ones. Click the link below to access the full series now, because the role ends the moment you decide it does, and the real script begins with you.